Hey guys, it is Nick here with another Nick's Topics Dragon Ball What If topic video for you guys today. And today we're getting into part 5 of What If Nam Became a Z Fighter. Now, because of Nam's inclusion, like with Giran and Hercule, most of the Dragon Ball villains and scenes are cut short, to say the least. Because last time, we got to the defeat of King Piccolo in his old state with Kid Goku and Nam, who barely managed to beat him. Because it was a tough fight still. Because they were stronger, but it was still a tough fight nonetheless. Anyways, just before King Piccolo dies, because he still got punched through his stomach, even though he was old, because I feel like it would have played out that way, as I explained last time, just before he exploded from death, he still managed to hatch Piccolo Jr., but it was by sheer luck that he managed to live this time. Anyways, after all that's said and done, Tien wishes to fight Nam in a one-on-one fight because of Nam beating him flawlessly in the tournament preliminaries, which they do, and because of the evenness of this fight and that Tien actually gets to do something rather than be completely humiliated and then cussed out and humiliated by his teacher, this time he's actually satisfied even when he loses against Nam. Afterwards, telepathically, Korin communicates to Kid Goku and Nam, saying that he wants them to get the Ultra Divine Water to further their training progress. After the defeat of King Piccolo and everything, they deserve an extra reward alongside. Now, they get an extra visitor in the likes of Tien, because even though he lost, he still wants to not this time better himself on Goku's terms, but on Nam's. And that's what started this little rivalry between the two. So, with the likes of Tien, Nam, and Goku all getting the Ultra Divine Water, Korin then tells them about Kami's Lookout and the Guardian of Earth, and that now that their power levels have far exceeded what he even thought possible, they're ready for this kind of training. So the three advance to the Lookout and meet with the likes of Mr. Popo, and they get past his training a lot easier than Kid Goku did in the original, because it's three of them for one thing, and they are all stronger, including Goku, than their anime counterparts, and that goes without saying. So, sooner than before, they get to meet with Kami, the Guardian of Earth. Now, right when he steps out, like Kid Goku, they all immediately think that this is King Piccolo, and that they were tricked all this time, and Tien's a little on the back foot too, because he really thought that King Piccolo had died, because he didn't really see it go down. But just as the three of them go to attack, Kami pushes them back with a single finger shockwave and explains the reality behind who he is, who King Piccolo was, etc. And afterwards, he accepts all three of them into his training. Now, unlike the anime, my Giran story, and my Hercule story, there are 3 people training on Kami's Lookout when Kid Goku's around. So, this is going to intensify the training and the gains from the training by a lot. I mean a lot. Kid Goku had a power level of 275 by the time he beat King Piccolo. But afterwards, his power grew to over 300, including when he had his weighted clothing off. But with the likes of Nam and Tien in tow with him, Goku, by the time he reaches teen years, will now have a power level of 400, if not a little bit more. And with Nam and Tien, their powers are even close to him in the 300 and a halves, if not more. Because, like I said, the gains are very noticeable here. And another thing, Kami will not have to disguise himself as Hero to the tournament, because with the likes of 3 people here and their gains proving even more so noticeable than even Goku's in the original, Kami takes note of this and knows that he won't even need to be there. By the time the 23rd World Tournament begins to happen, Tien beats Mercenary Tao in one hit. Before, it was a little bit of a fight, but with Tien being much stronger than his anime counterpart, the fight is basically a mercy match, to say the least. It's just no contest. The next match with Goku and Chi-Chi plays out as you would expect. Same with Krillin versus Piccolo Jr. and Piccolo Jr.'s actual appearance. Now, because of Kami not disguising himself as Hero, that means that when it's Yamcha's turn to fight, he actually goes against the likes of Nam. And Nam, like I said, with him, Tien, and Goku, his gains are just as noticeable too. Besides Yamcha's Spirit Ball and slightly big power level that Nam takes note of, and the fact that it's a more friendly match, I'm not saying Hero versus Yamcha wasn't friendly, but all things considered, even with new things and new power to aid him, Yamcha almost gets knocked out like the first few minutes into the fight. Because, like I said, Nam would be near, like Tien, near Goku in the 400 range because of how noticeable the gains are and just Kami's training as a whole. Now, the next match, Goku versus Tien, goes a lot differently than the anime. It is much more close here. And even though Tien is close to Goku in power, taking off the weighted clothing, Tien probably would have weighted clothing as well, I guarantee it. But I feel that Goku, because plot, and just because how good Goku is as a fighter, he would win nonetheless. But it would be a very close match. Now, the next fight after would be Piccolo Jr. versus Hero. But since Kami did not take part because there was no need, Nam is the one to face Piccolo Jr. Now, Piccolo Jr. has small hallucinations of Nam from when he and Goku beat his father, but outside of that, Piccolo Jr. knows nothing about him and underestimates him, like most villains do, as just being a normal villager just taking part for funsies, basically. But, like Tien, he doesn't account for how strong Nam is, and he goes for a swift cross-arm dive, which immediately knocks out Piccolo, and afterwards, he is injured, dazed, confused, and angry, and immediately threatens to kill someone. But with Goku and everybody else in tow being stronger than him, for the most part, he can't do anything. He lost fair and square, reminiscent to Tien losing to Nam. Now, afterwards, you can just imagine the anger that Tien felt before is nothing compared to Piccolo Jr.'s anger right now. He really just wants to lay into someone and just eradicate them from existence for daring to mock him, and he should know who he is. But ultimately, he can't do anything, just flies off in anger, threatening his revenge. And I know this was anticlimactic, but it's just, I don't want to sound like a broken record when I say the gains are very noticeable here. Afterwards, the end game of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament plays out the same, with Goku ending up marrying Chi-Chi like before, and Gohan ultimately being born still. Now, Tien and Nam, I feel, would hang around Goku a lot of the time, but since they've started a rivalry, pretty much a friendly rivalry, more or less, much more friendly so than Goku and Vegeta's, I feel that they would be off on their own a lot of the time, but would still make time to train with Goku, because they're all friends, especially Nam. But with all this training and all these gains, we still have one particular enemy coming up that could either spell trouble or could be nothing at all like the others. Raditz and the entrance to the Saiyan arc. Can this arc be dealt with as fast as the others? Or will Piccolo's defeat much more so put the group in danger? And that's where we leave things for the moment. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys are enjoying What If Nam Became a Z Fighter as a whole. If you guys are liking this particular series, leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, and I will see you guys next time.